You may think meditation is just for the hippies and monks, but I'm going to show you three incredible people from history: Thomas Edison, Maya Angelou, and Mel Brooks, none of whom were hippies and monks, but all of whom made meditation a practice in their lives, and each of them had their own unique way of doing it. In your mind, you might see meditation as having to look a certain way. You probably think of somebody sitting cross-legged on the floor with their eyes closed and their hands in some sort of awkward position. But meditation doesn't have to look like anything. If you were to watch me meditate, you would think I was just taking a nap in a chair. Meditation is meant to be comfortable and enjoyable, and as long as it promotes relaxation and rest and increases your joy and awareness, you're doing it right. I want to show you three unique examples of people who found their own meditative practices, prioritizing time, creating physical and mental space to dive into deeper levels of their own calm and self. First is the legendary business person and inventor Thomas Edison, most famous for inventing the incandescent light bulb. Yes, the light bulb, which is now the universal symbol for having an idea. And because Edison was brilliant, he came up with a brilliant way of meditating. Edison would nap in a chair holding metal balls in each hand. The moment he began to fall asleep, the balls would drop, waking him, taking him right to the edge of consciousness, where he said his most creative ideas lived, not to mention putting his body and his mind into a deep state of relaxation. There's an amazing story about Edison where one night at Princeton, he was summoned because his laboratory had caught fire. By the time he got there were flames 6-7 stories high, all colors of the rainbow because of all the chemicals that were inside the building. He turned to his son and said, "Go get your mother and her friends. They'll never see a fire like this again." If that reaction isn't deeply rooted in a present human being, then I don't know what is. Because remember, meditation helps us with our reactions and our responses to stress. And obviously, Edison had a pretty good grip on it. When you talk about impressive people, it's hard to find anyone more impressive than Maya Angelou. The poet, author, performer, professor, social rights activist, wrote over 36 books in her lifetime. Now, I know a lot of people who tell me they're too busy to meditate, but I don't know any of them who have written 36 books. And you may think to be so prolific, you have to eliminate your social life and busy your schedule. But Maya Angelou had a very rich social life, on top of being a mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. So how did she get so much done? She didn't cram, she created space. Angelou would rent a hotel room near her house, sometimes for months. She would find the most bare and simple room the hotel had to offer, then tell them to remove all art, decorations, flowers, even the phone from the room so there would be no disturbances. She told the hotel staff, "Don't come in and change the sheets because I'm not going to sleep there anyway." She wanted the room to have complete solitude. This was a physically quiet space that she created for herself in order to have a quiet place in her mind. When she was there, she was able to access what she called the voice beyond herself. This is where she said her poems lived. And that's what meditation is, creating a quiet space for yourself every day to get away from the chaos and busyness of daily life. Lastly, one of my personal idols and heroes of all time, the great, legendary Mel Brooks. The comedian, actor, writer, director, producer, the producer, is responsible for generations of comedy and seems to be a well of jokes even at the ripe age of 98. Bill Pullman recently told this story on The Rich Eisen Show. On the set of Spaceballs, Mel told everybody that he needed to take power naps. He would go away, shut down for about 5 minutes, and when he came back, he would be a slew of problem solves and creative ideas to make the movie better. It was only when he was able to go away from his thinking mind and dive into his subconscious that he could come back with a wealth of knowledge that he didn't have before. Something as simple as a power nap is a way to get away from your thinking thoughts, dive into deeper parts of yourself, and access the creativity that lives within us all. So here we have examples of three people from history with wildly different contributions to society and to the world, but all of whom had ways of accessing the calm, peace, and creativity within themselves among their very chaotic and busy lives. So whether it's taking time and space physically or mentally, how do you separate yourself from the demands and stresses of everyday life? How do you access deeper levels of consciousness that exist within us all? And look, you don't need to be a monk. From inventor to activist and poet to comedian and filmmaker, these three individuals show us ways that we can dive deeper into the most human parts of ourselves. If you have other methods or techniques, please share them in the comments. I would love to hear them. Or if you're curious and you want to try Thomas Edison, Maya Angelou, or Mel Brooks' techniques, I would love to hear how that goes for you too. Please let me know how it goes. Please subscribe, and I can't wait to see you next time.